Alright, welcome back to Janky AF and Rise of the Fiat. Apologize, I'm a little under the weather right now. So I wanted to give you a little update before we move into the footage, because a lot of this footage was shot a while ago. So here we are, and if there's any doubt in your mind that this is the jankiest channel in YouTube or all the internet, then put those doubts to rest, because here we are. My father had to come along, and we're trying to inch by inch tug this Fiat into a garage space. It's a new building that I have. I'll tell you more about that later. We tried to pull it up with the Transit, and then we almost got the Transit stuck in the mud, so that would have been 2 cars stuck. So luckily we avoided that humiliation and catastrophe, but this was quite humiliating. But I'm so indebted to my family. I have my father with the come along, my dear mother, my brother, and my wonderful sister-in-law, and myself trying to ramrod this thing in. I got it towed up here because the clutch now is completely on the floor, so I can't drive it in. So our it was just, after really great October weather, it just started pouring rain, just dumping sheets of rain. And of course, the target top on this is not the greatest, so I'm worried about rain getting in, and then mold and must, not to mention rust. So we had a brief window. We took the top off. We tried to get the car in, unsuccessfully, I might add, because it just started pouring rain again. So I put the cover on, so at least it's under a cover, but not the greatest conditions, this poor car. This is doing it janky. We're starting from the ground up, so we're just trying to get it indoors for the winter. I don't know if I'm going to have time to do probably needs clutch master and slave cylinder, brake master cylinder. I might take it to a shop if I can find a good one. Had all sorts of troubles dealing with shop with my Aerostar, and there'll be some videos on that soon. Yada yada yada. It's been quite janky here at Janky AF, but just wanted to give you a little update. Incidentally, the car started right up on the first crank, which was really, just a little glimmer of inspiration and hope. So that's a good thing. Still haven't been able to get the muffler work done, and that goes back to not finding a shop who's, able to do such things, and that's a whole nother conversation on labor shortages and the whole bit. And I watched Hoovy's shout out to Hoovy's Garage, watched one of their videos recently, and he was saying how a lot of dealerships, he was talking about BMW dealerships in particular, but they're charging so much more to do the work, but they're not paying their techs anymore, and it's almost as if they're trying to not have people have used cars or older cars so they can buy new ones, and that's a whole theory. But the point of it is, it's really hard to find people to work on older cars, especially in like rural areas like I am, and people that are really good are either retiring or they're so fully booked that they can't even do a little job. So long and short of it is, I think I'm going to be taking a welding class soon. I hope so. And the more and more you think about it, the more and more you just want to do stuff by yourself and learn the skills necessary to do those things. And as the great Fiat forums, many people on there have told me that, a rank amateur such as myself is better equipped to deal with these cars just through reading and research and using the great community than paying, a seasoned mechanic who doesn't care about the car to work on it. And that's just sort of the sad reality. But the nice thing about it is, you can learn a lot by doing stuff yourself, and obviously Cousin Scott has helped a lot along the way. So anyways, that's where we are. I wanted to give you a little update, and I've been doing some other videos. Drove a great TR6 that you may have seen, and Buick needs more work, and Aerostar finally is I think ready to go, so hopefully have some videos coming out on my wonderful 1986 Aerostar. That started the whole classic car journey for me. But so without further ado, here's part 5, and Janky do Thanky.
One small step for man, one giant leap for mankind.
Alright, welcome back to Janky AF, day 4. final day. We've done a lot. We drove the car yesterday, which was amazing, and now Scott's working overtime here. Overworked and underpaid. But we do have a little surprise for him. That's a gesture of goodwill and Janky Thanky. So if you take a look at this, all this wiring he's done a beautiful job. Everything's labeled. Everything's very unjanky, you might say. Soldered. So these are two main mods. We have the brown wire mod, which is a very common mod on these X19s, and then we have Headlight mod, which also just sort of disperses the power more evenly. So do you want to say real quickly what you did there?
Sure. I mean, basically what these two relays do is one's labeled low beam, one's high beam. We got 3 circuits here. Okay, let me start from the beginning. So first of all, we got a wire, 10 gauge wire that comes right off the battery terminal here. Comes down here and feeds through a fuse, by the way, feeds this terminal block, which is all fed positive. This whole terminal block is a positive junction, let's say. So we got 3 circuits off of this positive junction. We got a high beam, low beam, and then the brown wire, which are all labeled. These two are 7.5 amp fuses, and I believe I put a 10 in the brown wire, 15 maybe, 15 in the brown wire. But anyways, they then go to these, the high and low go to these 2 relays, which feed the headlights on both sides. And if we, where's the screwdriver?
Yeah, more wires for days.
Unfortunately, I kind of hid this screw behind these fuses, but it's not a big deal.
Coming on and off too often.
Exactly. Basically, I taped.
Oh,
this
yeah.
This has all been repaired.
That was a bunch of mush of wires before.
This was, I had to untape. No, we untaped this, and basically all this is in loom. The new wiring is all in loom, as you can see. But
Loom?
basically,
Is that just conduit essentially?
yeah, it's cheap conduit. Yeah, it's plastic conduit, just to protect the wiring. And all this was obviously had to be untaped and unwound and tapped into, so the signal coming from the headlight voltage, or when you turn on your headlights, it comes up to this relay, turns this relay on, and basically this relay just takes power right from the battery through a contact and out to both low and high beams.
So you're getting power directly from the battery as opposed to all the way through your relay box and then back out.
Exactly. That's all you're doing. And obviously I take this all up again, and everything's been soldered and heat. I have a heat gun, which everything's heat shrunk. There's shrink tubing here. Everything's been done. Everything's been soldered and heat shrunk, and I don't think you'll ever have a problem.
Yeah, it's under the hood, so it's dry. It's not right near the opening of the car.
And underneath these are ground studs here. Underneath these, they've been ground away to bare metal, so you should have a good ground connection there.
Beautiful.
I think you'll be pretty happy with it.
And what is the net effect? I mean, I'm kind of trying to explain it, but basically you're just, power's coming easier and more directly as opposed to like...
It's not, instead of being distributed through your main fuse block down here in the glove box,
another...
you know, you got
mush of wires there, you can see.
You got miles of wiring in any car nowadays.
Yeah, so it's just less...
Now it's just, you got a direct feed right from here, a nice solid voltage right from your battery, literally right from your battery, through these relays to the headlights. And same thing with, so the brown wire.
Yeah, what is that power?
What's that?
The brown wire.
From I don't know. From the reading I've done, it's basically your starting circuit and your ignition circuit. But basically, that runs kind of the same way through here. I ran it in here, underneath the windshield washer.
Isn't that the greatest giant windshield washer?
It's huge. It's 2 gallons or more.
I'll probably never use it.
Comes through here. I ran it through here and in through. There was an existing hole in here underneath the cowl.
Okay.
Had to take off the wooden trim on the top.
Yep. Custom.
And, a bunch of stuff on the bottom. I will say that out of all the cars I've ever worked on interior-wise, this is the least fit and finish quality work I've ever seen in my life. It's
So you haven't
atrocious.
worked on a Tesla yet.
No,
That's a Tesla joke. They have all sorts of fit and finish
Really?
issues with their body panels because they were cranking them out so fast. Just a little Tesla joke. We love Tesla at Janky AF.
So that's kind of what we do. We're about 99.5% done here. All we got to do is solder these two wires together. Put some heat shrink tubing on it. Reconnect the negative battery terminal, and we're done with this.
Yeah, the negative battery terminal with a giant red cable, which usually is the positive terminal. Fantastic. Now, what is that I'm smelling? Is that just soldering?
It's probably soldering.
Yeah.
Soldering iron going here.
Yeah.
But that's about
Fantastic.
That's about summary on what we did with the wiring.
Beautiful.
It's probably any long-time X1 owners probably do the same thing eventually because it has to be done.
Yep.
They end up burning up wires under the dash. And
Yep.
actually, to be honest with you, last night we can show later. I did a before and after with the headlights as far as brightness.
Nice.
It's not even comparable now.
Yeah.
You got much more. They're a lot brighter now.
Yeah.
So-
Might not even need to put in LEDs.
Right.
Wow. Well, I guess we brought the car to the right place after 2 years of not bringing it to the right place. That's fantastic. So yeah, if you are an X19 owner or prospective X19 owner, check out XWeb forums. They're invaluable if you need parts. Midwest Bayless, right out of Columbus, Ohio, or thereabouts. And hopefully you have a resource as good as Cousin Scott. All right, so doing the brakes and some other things. As usual, Scott will be working and I'll be talking to a stick. Now, a warning here, there is some extreme stupidity in this section involving what we did to the brakes. Well, you'll see, but when we had the brakes, we couldn't figure them out, and so we did a thing with it, and it was dumb, but I'll just let you watch that. All right, little setback. There's, first of all, a funny thing, there's spacers on this wheel, which now I think are factory by reading some of the posts. That's kind of funny they had factory spacers on it. When we put the caliper back together, which is a sort of a weird old school caliper where you slide this mechanism that holds the pads onto the caliper, and you put these little pins in to secure it there, and or these little slides in, and then you put 2 pins on to hold it there. But when we do that, there's just not enough space on between the pads to get over the rotor. So it's kind of perplexing because I bought parts specifically for this car from a site that makes parts or keeps parts in stock for this car. So I don't know what could be wrong. Maybe this area needs to get sanded down, but we're just gonna take the brake pad and just sand the brake pad down and sort of prematurely wear it. But if we can get, even 1/8 of an inch off, it'll probably be enough. So we're just gonna sand it down with a file and do it janky. Like Scott said, it's got to be Janky AF because it's Janky AF. Now I can't even tell you how much time. Luckily, I got a palm sander, which at least is better than a file or an orbital sander there. But I can't tell you how much time we wasted, and then filming it too. Just hilarious. But we figured it out. Well, after sanding down all 4 brake pads, I'm just curious. So I look at the rear pads, and there's a sticker that says, for Fiat and Lancia applications, I say Lancia applications, remove the thin metal backing shim on each pad prior to installation. Which stands to reason we should have done for the front pads too, but we didn't read that, and the front pads didn't have that sticker. So it may have taken a couple of miles off the pads, but I just hope they fit in once we take these shims or these shoes off. Scott says he's never taken a pair of shims or shoes off the back of them, so we just didn't think to do it, but here it is. So that's what you're supposed to do. So hopefully we dodged a bullet there, even though we sort of did all that sanding and grinding. The pads aren't brand new anymore, whatever. They'll even themselves out when they're on the car. So hopefully we can just install those and sort of be on our way. We're going to take a little lunch break here, and on that note, Janky do thank you. Look at that, the color even matches. All right, Scott.
What? You ready?
Come take a look.
Really?
It's the beer you like.
Really?
Yeah, go ahead and turn it on. One more.
Really?
Did my own little wiring job. And you might want to redo it because it's just a bunch of electrical tape when I had to splice it coming out of here, cut it, and so I could loop it through.
Nice.
So it's all clean. Yeah, look at that.
Was this, I mean,
that's hand
obviously this
painted.
was probably, oh yeah, I know
Yeah.
that, but was this pre-planned? Is this something you did
I kind of
recently?
wanted to do a Utica Club toilet for a while, and then like when you agree to take on this project and maybe work on the Buick too,
Yeah.
and you know, not accepting any money, I was like, I gotta do something for him. So we both share a love of Utica Club.
Somebody's been shitting paint.
Yeah,
Smells like paint.
I cleaned it up for you. And so I was proud of this. The can's not even punctured, so I just stabbed it and fabricated those holes.
Oh, so you just
Very
drained it?
gently. Yeah, I just drained it.
I love it. Thank you.
So there you go. Yeah, thank you. And it matches the car too, so
does,
that's
it
perfect.
does.
And if you actually notice, this is even a different. It's proud of this too. Is a slightly different shade of gold because the top's a slightly different shade of gold. You got your yellow and blue markers on the bottom and top. Tried to replicate the can as best I could. Came out really nice. Yeah. So obviously you probably don't want to store it here, but
No,
just want to
I'll
present
do
it.
something no, I'll bring it downstairs or something in the bar.
There you go. Yeah, perfect for the bar, right?
Maybe we can do a little video of the bar.
Yeah.
Today before we.
Hell yeah, please.
So,
I don't know the last time I saw the bar.
but yeah, this is nice. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
I like it.
Well, thank you.
I do like it. And I would expect nothing less.
Yeah. All right. Hey,
Very good.
we're all about toilets and cars here at Janky AF. So, Janky, do thanky. Look at this little motor here. Isn't that cute? It's like a little locomotive. It's awesome. It runs in a circle. Lights much brighter. Look at those things. I hadn't even seen the pop-up headlights yet. Yeah. All right. So eventually we did, figure out the brakes, and you got to, again, this caliper kind of sits on a housing, and the caliper slides over the rotor with the pads on each side, and then it kind of attaches to that housing. And it is kind of weird because you kind of have to like slide the pads into the caliper and then push it over, but they want to fall inwards, and you have to split them apart, but then you got to still get them over the rotor. So it's just like a little tricky. Here we are researching, or maybe I'm just, talking to a stick. And but we managed to get all four of them, and actually one was always kind of easier than the next one. We didn't we just sort of plodded along and got it done, but overall not too bad. And four-wheel disc brakes, which is pretty cool in an old car like this. Welcome back to Janky AF. Utica Club Toilets here. Scott's cooked dinner or lunch, depending on the way you look at it, every single day, in addition to helping save my ass here. We got brakes on all the way around, brand new rotors and pads. These were a bear. They have these system here where you have to insert the pads front and rear into this bracket that sits on this caliper, and it's just this real pain in the ass, this real juggling act of trying to get them to fit while sliding it in. And then you have these little slides that go in with these little pins, and that you finally wedge those in at the end to hold it in place. And they're in place, let me tell you that. But it's spinning. We got the anti-seize. The other funny thing is factory wheel spacer. I think it's a factory spacer based on some reading I've done. And then it allows you to put this little lug in, which actually helps when you're mounting the wheel, so it actually has something to sit on, because they are lug studs, not lug nuts. So anyways, we finished that up, and we got the badge back on, which is great. Put a little silicone on the bottom and these little sort of little clamps. So second vehicle I have that brags about fuel injection, which is pretty funny. I guess that's sort of my niche. Late 70s, early 80s, and into the 90s. We got the plates on. This is my little trick. It says, so New York historical plates are HX, so I found one that said 19, so it actually says X19, so, cute little things like that. And then we really struggled with this. Maybe we talked about it in previously, but there's this, hard to even see now, there's this little piece, this little dangler right down there, and it looks very phallic. And on the other side here, maybe you can see it right down in there. Hard to see, I know, but that looks, well, like the other, whatever's on the other end of a phallus, those two things. We won't mention them by name. So we've started calling it the dildo for short, and found that out in the forum because we were like, what the heck is this piece, and why is it just abruptly end here, and then why is there another chute down in there? You can see it just sort of cuts off right here. And so the Fiat, again, the X-Web forums told us about this little part that was here, this rubber thing, and then I was about to buy, you know, it's of course one of the only things I didn't buy on Midwest Bayless before we ordered parts, and then packing up today, digging through this, you know, the great Jerry left me with a ton of parts here that you see scattered throughout these boxes. And actually, I think they had like a new brake master cylinder, a bunch of stuff I probably didn't need to order, quite honestly. But, you know, better to have too much than not enough, so I don't care about that. And all the, you know, I saved thousands of dollars in labor with Scott here, so so we found that little part lying in the box. So that's sort of the icing on the cake, to be honest. It's like the last little piece that we can put in and say we did. And so we're gonna get that in there. This nice little red boot. It's like sort of a Fiat, a signature piece of the car, I guess. It really does have cool with the red distributor and the red hose to the expansion tank here. Now they do make a stainless steel expansion tank there, which I may eventually buy, just, I don't know, for vanity, I guess. We gotta probably get a new air box on there. Some fuel lines probably still need to be replaced at some point, but oh my goodness, the progress we've made these 4 days has been incredible. So we'll pop it in there, and that'll sort of be the pièce de résistance. Alright, so we're going to leave it there for now. There'll be a part 6, and that'll be kind of probably the final one in this installation. And I'll do a little thing at the end that'll take us right up to the present. You know, I know these aren't super technical and all that, but hopefully you're enjoying the journey, and thanks for sticking around if you have. Yeah, just can't say enough about this car. Really excited to keep going on it. So stick around for the next one, and yeah, Janky thank you for watching. We do appreciate it.
One small step for man, one giant leap for mankind.